Hello everybody, it's Gary, and I'm really enthused about being able to do this. Our channel is relatively new, but we want to slowly bring into knowledge of how we got here. And I mean, it's some of the things that Lisa and I have gone through are really going to be interesting for people to see, because I'm sure you all have done it too. So as you can see behind me, I did some time in the military. I served on a carrier, but that's really not what I want to talk about. There's something that's really close to me, and it's been powerlifting for the last 15 years, and I'll explain why. One of my very first, well, let me backtrack. My son used to lift weights out in the garage when he was like 15 years old, and I asked him, "Why are you lifting weights?" He said, "I don't want to grow up and look like you." Me? So I've always been tall and skinny, and he didn't want to be like that. Consequently, he's now world champion powerlifter at about 350 pounds, losing weight, Hall of Fame, etc., etc. So that's how it started. He started lifting weights, he started going to competitions, and then about 15 years ago, I was in Phoenix, and I was managing the company, and he called me. He was my manager in Tucson. He called me and said, "Hey, Dad, before you say anything, I've already asked Mom. I've talked to Mom," which means what? I look for my wallet. When a kid does that, what's coming? So, hey, we'd like to have you, or I'd like to have you join me in a powerlifting competition as a father and son team in Tombstone. I had a couple technicians in my office. They had to leave. They were laughing so loud. Well, that was 15 years ago, and I stayed with it. Now, right now I'm 70. I've been doing it over 15 years. And the thing that comes to mind is one of the world famous powerlifters stopped me before I got up on one of my first platforms, and he asked me, "How bad do you want it?" And so they inducted me into the Wabdil, not the Hall of Fame, but they inducted me as a VIP this last year for all the extra things that I've done for the Wabdil, the World Association of Bench Press and Deadlift, which is where we've won most of our competitions. And they inducted me as a VIP, and I was able to share this, that we don't know how we impact people's lives. A lot of people have impacted me, and I'm sure you all feel the same way. And sometimes you don't remember until a certain thing triggers it. Certain sayings. And the phrase, "How bad do you want it?" I've told my employees and anybody that'll listen to me, before you want to get something done, you got to ask yourself how bad you want it. So I just want to show you a couple things. And hey, it's not to brag. This is just, that's my award, my VIP award. And that's not just for lifting, because at age 70, there aren't many people that compete in my division. So it could be a win. So that's not the point. You still have to train, you still have to travel, you still have to do all kinds of things. And that's part of why Lisa and I are doing this. It was unknown. What did it mean? It added a lot of years to my life. I'm 70, and I can keep up with the best of the kids now. So just to show you, that was my world medal in 2017 for an invitational, a seniors, basically a master's invitational powerlifting world championship in Houston, Texas. There are a lot of lifters from all over the world, and I won my division. And these guys, they're from another federation that I competed in, which was a full power federation. And then a bunch of these. They're heavy. Doesn't mean they're not fake. So, hey, the point is that you got to work for something, you got to work on it, and I really enjoyed it. I just retired from doing it because it's time for me to be careful now. I gotta hand it to my son. My son's been my trainer. He's kept me healthy. He's kept our team. We're number one in the world several times. Our teenagers are number one in the world. He's in the Hall of Fame. At one point, we took 50 lifters to Worlds in Reno, and we won. So it's a big deal when you get to be, as you get older, if you can do these kinds of things with your kids and you can do it to help yourself maintain a healthier lifestyle, it's really important. And what I didn't know is that when I first started and I could barely pull 140 pounds off the ground, and I'd get near 400. Still trying. No, I'm not going to do it anymore. But I've been injury free basically. We just completed Worlds at the Horseshoe Hotel in Vegas, and my son and I orchestrated everything. We brought all of our weights. I think it was like 3,500 pounds in kilo plates, benches, platforms, bars, weights, you name it. We brought it all. We rented a U-Haul truck, and I drove the truck, and he followed me in his car. We set the place up, and I was on the stage for all 5 days. So although I didn't compete, I wanted to give back. So I wound up being basically the platform manager, making sure the spotters had the weights on there right, that matched whatever it was supposed to be. And then in the deadlift, I had to back spot people. And the funny thing is that my 350-pound son took me down. We almost went through the wall. It was the last lift of the meet, basically. And he made it. He broke the world record. And on the way down, they'd already given him all white lights. The bar slipped, and he let go, and boom, we both went down. It's funny. It's on YouTube. So anyway, that's good for right now. I just wanted to share that. I want to see how this thing turns out. Have my editors look at it. Take 2. It's the best I could do. Anyway, there'll be more of that came from. I'll bet you can't wait. Well, thanks. What am I supposed to say about like, share, subscribe, all that stuff? Right, Lisa?